Yo, yo, yo! What's going on, great people in all of the great land? It's your guy, Nicholas Wilcox. It's your guy, Johnny Mine. The Fantasy Football Show in the house. Your favorite fantasy football homeboys. About to break it down for y'all. It's winning season. It's game time. Get right. Let's get it going. Johnny, say what's up to the great people.
Happy playoff, last week of your regular season playoff Sunday. Time to get it, man. It's officially here, man. We got some snow up here, bro. We had some gross weather up here, man, the other night, man. It's like 0 degrees here, bro. So, but I'm ready, man. I'm ready for a great Sunday for sure. Feeling good about this week, man. Ready to get it. So yeah, man. Let's do it, bro.
It's winning season, like I said, man. It's time to put yourself in positions to make the final push. There's some people that are playing for playoff berths today. There's some people that are still in their leagues fighting for 1 seed or a 2 seed today to get themselves a bye week in their leagues. And again, there's just some people that are just trying to play spoiler. That being said, we're going to break it down for y'all game by game. We're going to answer your questions in the chat. Drop them below. Please subscribe to the channel. Please do. We're on the road to 200. Please do so. Rick, good morning. You are the main. And we're going to break this thing down, like I said, overall. So, again, y'all got questions. Y'all got answers. We got answers for you. We got the juice in the sauce for y'all, yo. So, we're going to break this down. First game we got. We're going to start with my lowly-ass Jets taking on the Dolphins. Dolphins getting 2.5 going into New Jersey to take on the low-life Jets. 3-9 the season, over under 40.5, 1 p.m. game time start. One of the games that don't exactly mean a lot for the overall NFL playoff picture, but what I will say is that this game could potentially have some shootout potential in this spot. And again, Miami still relatively holding on to the overall little slim margin of theirs to make the playoffs. But again, long hill to climb for them, but it's still a possibility for them. And of course, a couple other teams in the AFC as well are still holding on by a thread, and we'll get to that later on. But that being said, again, Dolphins getting 2.5 against the Jets. And in this spot, look, we talked about it on the overall The Pick Is In podcast. With overall, what keeps happening? We overall talked about this. Oh, I know what's going on. We overall talked about this on the overall show when it came to Haywood, and shout out to him. Devon Achane 8,800 for the overall slate for DraftKings, and Jets are 25th against the run. Devon Achane has been amazing on the ground the last 3 games, and I think the trend continues. I just think in a spot for Miami, I know they've been criticized for not being able to play big and weather games and stuff like that, but their defense is tightened up a little bit better via the pass. And I just think in this spot, I think Miami should be able to take this one on the road. Again, the Jets aren't playing for nothing besides pride. And we know in these spots for division games, it can always be a spot where, beware. But again, I think a 2.5 spot. I feel this spot should be a little bit more bigger from a spread perspective. This should be at least a 4.5 in my opinion. So I'm taking Miami and I'm taking the points. And hopefully the Jets lose today. So we can pump it down for that number 1 overall pick for selfish reasons. But I think the Jets should still be able to give them a fighting chance in this one. Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. Like we all know, Tyrod can still produce. He's 4,900 on DraftKings today. He's literally the value quarterback again. I wouldn't say it's a chase spot per se. There's a couple other spots you can go to at quarterback. But I do think that with Tyrod, it's not the end of the world. If you're starting him for your season-long matchups today, this could still be a decent spot for him. But again, Miami's pass defense has been a lot better over the last 4 weeks as a defense, in general too. So just be wary. I think Tyrod can still give you 18 points today. And that could be a mixture of, obviously via the passing on the ground. So, Johnny, what you got to say about this one? in terms of how you see it?
This is actually my game that I'm going to today. As gross as it sounds, Jets and Dolphins. Yeah, it sounds pretty gross. It feels just as gross.
There you
But,
go.
yeah, I feel like the last time I went in on the Jets, I think it was like the start of the demise of my DFS season. So hopefully they can bring it back full circle for me today. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. But yeah, man, Brees Hall, last 6 games, man, 90 yards plus, and that's actually happened in 3 of his last 5 games. So I think it's a good situation for him. Oh, looks like we got some spammy bots in
That's all
the
right.
chat.
Yeah. Let them be there. That's fine.
Oh, yeah, we're coming up in the world, baby. There's that. And then also, too, man, the other thing, like, you talked about Devon Achane, rightfully so. I know that's your guy. But with Brees Hall, 31% of the scrimmage yards for the Jets this year. That's actually 5th in the NFL as far as running backs goes. And then Miami, they have a tendency to give up big plays in the running game as well. So I like this. And then Tyrod, man, scrambled on 22% of his dropbacks as well. He's also pushed the ball downfield a lot better than Justin Fields has already, like more times than Fields did. And obviously Fields was a starter for a majority of the season. So like I'm just getting to this place, man, for sure. And then the other part of this for me that I thought was like pretty interesting was really, man, actually over the last 3 games, the least amount of points that have been scored by these teams has been 48 points. So like I think this game just has the potential to low key be one of the games that puts up a lot of points today. There's a lot of value here when you look at the pass catchers from the Jets, when you look at a guy like Darren Waller as well from a value side. Even if you want to go and look at like Jalen Waddle, like he's not quite priced, obviously, as the number 1 wide receiver. I'm playing a lot more on FanDuel today than I am on DraftKings. But everything says that this is a really good game environment to get to, right? Like you're looking at 2 defenses that haven't been good all season long, and typically from a fantasy / DFS side of things, when you're looking for a game to get to, you're looking for 2 teams that haven't been very good defensively. And both of these teams fit the bill for it. So that's where I'm at, man. As far as like me picking the game, I'm going to continue to ride with the Dolphins, man. I agree with you. Not from like the selfish side of things, but just I think right now, like they might be the better team. But I do think this one is going to be a close one here today, for sure. But I'll ride with the Dolphins with you, man, on this one right here. Nothing more, nothing less. Just again, hopefully it's a really good DFS game, because if this is a really good DFS game, then Christmas won't be canceled. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. You know what I'm saying? But hey, you know what I'm saying? I know what you mean, but don't cancel Christmas, all right?
Yeah.
So who you got?
Yeah, like I said, man, I'm gonna ride with you with the Dolphins on this one, man. I will.
All right.
I do, man. The Jets, man. Like before we transition, I will say this. I just had had a few thoughts about this like last week. This seems like very similar, and I'm not saying that this is the same situation, but it just is very similar to to the Lions. Like Dan Campbell, he kind of cleaned house, if you'll say. He moved some players out, and after he moved some players out, he got his guys in. They continued to play. They were spoilers, they were nuances coming down the stretch. I think you're kind of seeing a very similar thing here with the Jets, man.
I hear you. Moving on.
Love it.
You already know what it is, right? He's like, do we have to? We do.
Yeah,
Steelers going into Baltimore, take on the Ravens. Both teams 6-6 coming into the year, or into this game. Over under 42.5. Steelers getting 6 points going into Baltimore. Johnny, take it away.
All right, so Derrick Henry. I think it starts and ends there for the Ravens today. starts and ends there for the Ravens and the Steelers today. Steelers have been literally the highest paid defense in the NFL, bottom 5 in yards given up. Derrick Henry has actually not did a very good job versus stacked boxes, which is ironically really odd for him because he actually has done pretty well in that space. However, the Steelers are around the league average run defense when they don't have a stacked box. So I feel like these two stats like just grossly contradict each other, for sure. And then Lamar Jackson, man, like Lamar Jackson hasn't thrown a touchdown in the last 3 games. Like that's wild to think about. But never fear, because the Pittsburgh Steelers are here. Never fear. Then like on top of that too, like Lamar, he's had the second worst passer rating since week 11. So like I don't like, it's one of those spots where you're like, okay,
really
like,
bad.
yeah, he's been really bad, but you're also like, well,
It's still Lamar Jackson.
exactly. And it's the Steelers defense, and there's like so much drama, like obviously going on in that space, man. For sure. Like a couple of players, I do like the tight ends for the Ravens in the spot. The Steelers have just struggled against tight ends all year long. And then like we're into December and January, like we're heading into those months, and there's a few players, and Derrick Henry is one of those guys that just plays better. Later on in the season. Like Derrick Henry's averaging 108.4 rushing yards in December and January for sure. Yes, Rick, I see you, man. The Steelers defense is showing optimal. I did, throw them in a couple of my DFS lineups just because, like you said, like they're the optimal play. Like it seems like things have, I don't know why they've slowed down for the Ravens, but they have. I do not like anybody in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform today for various reasons.
That's not emotionally biased at all.
It's not. It's not. I did sprinkle in some Jalen Warren into my GPP, my max entry 150. So I did sprinkle some of him in, a little bit of DK, but like nothing crazy. Darnell Washington was probably the guy for me. But yeah, like I think this game, for all intents and purposes, it feels like it should go under based off of everything that we're saying. Yeah. As far as like winning the game, man, I'm gonna go. This is it right here. This is the line in the sand for me. This is the line in the sand. I'm gonna pick the Pittsburgh Steelers today.
Okay.
I'm gonna take them.
All right.
And I feel very strongly that if this does not happen today, then I like, and I'm not even being dramatic. I'm just like, this is the honest to God truth. Like I truly think that if this doesn't happen today, then I think that, you are definitely looking at the back end of things for Mike Tomlin in this regime, man, because like there's just no way that this could continue. Like this is a prime spot and a prime opportunity. I know it's on the road and they've had some success in the past against the Ravens on the road. If this does not happen today for the Pittsburgh Steelers, then that trademark for Tomlin to be able to get his guys going, for him to be able to do all those things, everything, all the players have talked. James Harrison, Darius Slay, you've seen it, right? If it don't happen, man, if it don't happen today, then I think he's lost that locker room for sure. And again, I'm not in there, but like
lost the locker room. Oh,
bro, like. Listen, I don't know if you've seen like
I did see the James Harrison thing. My whole thing with that, I'll give my little 2 cents. I honestly think that just to be like from an outside perspective point of view, like I still think Mike Tomlin, like there's a ton of respect there for Mike Tomlin for me, always. And from an X and O's perspective, though, there are times where he does get out coached. But also, I will say that this defense in general, though, he talked about being one of the worst defenses probably in Steeler history, right? However, sometimes it comes down to an execution standpoint, though. Like, there's times I'm looking at the defense for the Steelers, and I'm like, that wasn't because of positioning. It's because this guy didn't make a play. It's like, you got to ask your fellow brethren and men to make a damn stop sometimes, make a damn tackle when you know you're going to be going for an arm tackle. You know you're not going to be trying to hit low. It's like, come on. So sometimes the
only problem I have with all that, man, is like you can't be the man that's in control of every single thing, and you have so much say. Like these are your players. These are the guys that you wanted.
Right. Yeah, true.
You wanted. And
I just think there has to be also responsibility from the players.
Guaranteed.
Well.
Agreed.
Have 11 positions on defense.
But like not to like go on like a crazy rant, dude. They've been bad for a long time, bro. They have been bad since Ben Roethlisberger has retired. Like they have not drafted well since Ben Roethlisberger has retired. They have let coordinators leave since Ben Roethlisberger has retired. Like they're like you could go on and on. They have held on to players.
So you fire Tomlin. So my question.
I'm not saying it's a fire because like there's a lot of things that were there. There's a lot of things that are there, like in that space, and there was some kind of like weird clause in his contract for him, like at the end of the season. Like this game is like it's huge. Like it is the game for Tomlin. This is his Super Bowl right here against the Baltimore Ravens. Ironically enough,
that's fair. I mean, I think the Steelers could potentially, get the 6 here. It's just a lot with the Ravens for me right now is like really feast or famine right now for this team. Defensively, they've improved since they got more healthier. Obviously, all the pieces for the most part are back for the Ravens in this spot. And my whole thing is if the Baltimore defense really steps up today against Aaron Rodgers and this hapless team of non enough weapons for Pittsburgh, as I've said this for weeks ever since the Charger game. It's like you can't tell me you're going to go out there and beat somebody especially if someone keys in on Metcalf, right? There goes all your verticalness for this offense, unless Calvin Austin gets a nice play downfield, or unless we're talking about Ben Skoranek. It's like guys that we're like, look, like, or Roman Wilson, like these guys are not doing it for y'all. And sometimes y'all know this. Adam Thielen coming into the situation, we'll see how many snaps he'll get. I doubt he'll make much of a dent in this one today, but it's something where lose in this game, it's like I feel like Thielen can give you a nice little boost up, but it's something where, again, you got to address this in the offseason like you guys have been trying to do last several seasons. And you guys you talked about it before. Could have had Metcalf and Pickens, but decided to trade one of them and acquire the other.
The last rant. Like you have all these. The last one you have all of these, you have all of these pass rushers and you've built this defense because like this is ultimately the problem with the defense, man, and just their situation. They've built a team that on defense that says we will be playing with a lead. Well, the problem is they don't ever have a damn lead. That's the problem. So it doesn't matter if you have TJ Watt. It doesn't matter if you have Alex Highsmith. It doesn't matter because you don't have a lead. And if you don't have a lead, then all teams are going to do is run the ball at you. And if they're running the ball at you, then guess what you're not doing? You're not rushing the passer. So it doesn't matter if you have Jalen Ramsey. It doesn't matter, if you have Joey Porter Jr. It doesn't matter if you have Asante Samuel Jr. It doesn't matter if you have Darius Slay. It doesn't matter if you have Minka Fitzpatrick. It doesn't matter because you're never playing with the damn lead. So your best players don't get a chance to do what they do. That's it.
Right.
Period.
End. The end. But I've got the Ravens in this spot, and it won't be. I'm not gonna say it won't be because of Lamar, but it will be. He'll have to make a couple of plays in this one to make it feel like the Ravens could get ahead in this one. Otherwise, it's just the Henry show, and if the Henry show gets shut down, like Steelers have an opportunity to steal one on the road. So, I'll take the under in this spot. This feels like a 23-17 spot for Ravens and Steelers. Both of them trying to run the ball. Both of them trying to slow the pace of the game down to where, again, probably comes down to, again, Lamar's arm making a few plays down the stretch in this one. So that being said, we got a couple questions that we'll get to. We got Brad Toms 15 has a full point PPR pick one question. He has Chris Rodriguez. I'm assuming that's Jaden Reed. Devon Bailey, Tajay Spears, and Parker Washington's out, so we can rule him out already. He's already ruled out.
They're playing in a damn tsunami down there too. So.
Oh yeah. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chris Rodriguez, Jaden Reed, Bailey, or Spears. This feels easy, but I'm gonna say Bailey. Bailey gets a 29th ranked pass defense in the Bucs today. So I'm just purely going off matchup in this one. Jaden Reed, I have no idea what to expect. He's still questionable, but he is expected to play today. And then Chris Rodriguez, gets a Minnesota Vikings defense that, depending on game script, Chris Rodriguez can essentially still, have a decent role in this one. But it comes down to game script in that one. So I'm just going to say Vele. He had 8 targets he had 8 catches last week, and the targets seem to be piling up the last 2 for him. I'm just going to go off the volume in the matchup. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because I like Rodriguez actually, man. Like
That's fine.
you
Too. That
know,
was my second.
I figured that's probably the second pick because
Yeah.
I think we're on the same page with Jaden Reed, and I think obviously Tajay Spears kind of we know what it is, but like I think with Rodriguez, it's interesting just to see like what's going to shake with this Commanders offense, right? Like finally, looks like Jaden Daniels is back today, like so if that's the case, then like finally getting a chance, finally getting a chance to maybe see what this offense looks like. And I think, if JD5 is out there and he's healthy, like maybe it opens up some running lanes for Rodriguez today against an aggressive Vikings defense. So there could be just natural lanes that do happen there. Be interesting to see, man. But I would say Rodriguez and then Vele would probably that would be 1 and 2 for me. So I think like narrowing it down between those two, that's the best option I got for you. Be rad.
I love it. Burden or Quinn Johnson? Like, I feel like I don't know why people aren't feeling more locked in for Burden this week. I feel like several people I've been seeing certain chats and certain things on X, and I'm like, why aren't people more confident in Luther Burden starting today? But I'm taking Luther Burden. Obviously, it's pretty much. I think we're in agreement and alignment on that. Quinn Johnson is just too up and down. Right now, it's like I know the weather and this is a third is going to play a bit of a role here, but it's like I think Burden, he has that chip on his shoulder. Saw an interview with him earlier this week, when there was asking about you should have been a first round pick or whatever. How does that make you feel and stuff and all that? Like it's like no, I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember this. I'll never forget. So like I think he's definitely ready to ball today. Yeah. Obviously with Roman Dunze on week to week. So Luther Burden out there. Should be starting over Quinn Johnson in your lineups today. Going on to the next game, we got Seattle Seahawks going into Atlanta for over under 44.5. The Seattle Seahawks are a -6.5 road favorite going into Atlanta. So I guess a couple of things. I reiterated this. Again, if you haven't gone and see the Pick Is In podcast with our boys Haywood and Jonah. Collaboration, you know what I'm saying? Much love to them. But again, breaking down this, it's simple. Like Seattle, they're a first half team. They look to wallop you early on, and then they kind of coax it down later on. The matchup and the situation I'm seeing is JSN. We talked about him, and we made a lineup with him and stuff like that already. It's like with JSN, people are going to always, kind of, 1 week this, 1 week that. I definitely expect JSN to still have some great ownership today. But I feel if it's going to be a spot where people are undermining it because of, the record and stuff like that, I feel like Seattle can still do a hell of damage in the first half like they've always done. Remember Sunday Night Football several weeks back where Darnold just threw like 4 touchdowns, and it was pretty much wrapped up at halftime. And JSN was also a part of that. It's just it could be an easy onslaught in this spot. If it is more of a game, then good. It's more of a game. Like JSN, like talked about with Tennessee previously, like he had his best game yardage wise in a game that was back and forth. So I think that JSN at 9,000 is one of my locks today just because of the matchup. Atlanta plays a ton of cover 4, and they blitz on that as well. Darnold increases his passer deep ball rate by over 50% in these spots where he gets blitzed. Still a little feast or famine still at that spot. But again, with a guy like JSN, when they can give you some layup, catches for JSN, or give you a nice deep ball downfield to, obliterate this cover 4 defense, because Atlanta, their pass rush has been decent, but it's been slowed down the last couple of weeks. I just expect JSN to eat in this spot, 9,000 on DraftKings today. And I'm just going to blocking them in my lineups, and we're just going to find out what happens. Seattle still has a lot to play for. They're still in a position to potentially have a 1 seed and a division crown. So there's a lot to play for Seattle. So I don't think they're going to let up in this spot. Bijan Robinson obviously comes to mind. And obviously no Drake London today. And this offense with Kirk Cousins, do I dare say Kyle Pitts today? Am I delusional? How are you feeling about this stuff?
No, that's what the general public says. The general public is saying Kyle Pitts for sure. Hey, here we go. No, man, like yo,
they're a weird team, man. The Rams are a weird team,
right? And you think about it, right? Like you just mentioned the Falcons pass rush. You just mentioned it.
I did
at home against, obviously in the dome, like and Sam Darnold, like we know, see ghosts sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm a Sam Darnold guy. You know what I mean? So, I think it could be an interesting game for sure. I think one of the things like you talk about with JSN is just a shadow piece with AJ Terrell. He's going to follow him. He's going to follow him today. And if the Seahawks, and if all of this is true, I think that justifies everything you just said about JSN, because he's a one-man show out there as far as the passing game goes for the Seahawks. However, one of the other things, man, is pretty sure the Seahawks are actually the most run-heavy team in the NFL. 51% of their run plays, which is crazy because they're actually tied for third with 29 points a game averaging, right? So again, as we talk about that, like now I'm going to talk about like Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet, because I think this might be a really nice spot for them, because they might have to run the ball, man, based off of this pass rush here. You know what I mean? So I think there's that aspect. I love the Seahawks, obviously, man. Like been on them since the preseason, for sure. Yeah. I think they find a way to win, man. I truly do. I just think on the offensive side, like I'm more worried about Kirk Cousins going against this Seahawks defense is really my concern, man. Because that Seahawks defense, them boys is hell. Them boys is hell. Yeah, them boys is hell, man. And you talked about JSN, man. He's 10%. Is what he's coming in for ownership here on DraftKings. So that's a really, that's a really good call. For sure, man, in that space. And then Kyle Pitts is at like 24% in his space. So yeah, dude, like I said, man, like I think honestly, man, I think it's a really good spot for for JSN, man. I think it's a really great spot for him. And then Bijan, man, the thing about a bad dude like that is you never know, man, right? Like it could be the passing game, it could be the running game that where he gets off. And I know a lot of fantasy managers need him today, just like a lot of fantasy managers need JSN. So I think this could be one of the actual better real life football games that we can see today. And I don't know if it's going to pop for the 45 that it's at right now, but I think it's going to be a really good game overall. I'm actually looking forward to this
one, man. Yeah, I think Seattle's got a nice little half point, so now it's a full 7 for them on DraftKings at least. Double check your books, double check your lines, people. But yeah, I think that Seattle comes in, they handle business in this spot. I agree with you about AJ Terrell. He's one of the best corners in the league. Again, it's JSN. He's been on fire pretty much off Fuego the entire year. Yeah, and it's gonna be tough to be sticking with him and stuff like that. This could leave the door open for Rashid Shaheed today.
Oh, your guy AJ Barner, man.
You know what I'm saying? And my guy AJ Barner. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's a lot of ways this can kind of get a bit fuzzy, but at the same time, I'm feeling really confident about JSN in the matchup today. Yeah, especially if they play that weak ass cover 4. Moving on, Saints Bucks. Saints was at 8.5, now it's 7.5. Going to Tampa. This probably has something to do with no Tristan Wirfs today for the Bucks today at left tackle. So over under still 41.5. The Bucks, they have to. I wouldn't say you should want to win today with Carolina on bye, because that will give you at least a half game up for the division crown for the NFC South. What I like about this game is that I think with Baker, we'll find out how healthy he is still. I feel like there was just a few opportunities missed last week with Tampa, for Baker Mayfield especially, and we'll just have to find out if it's Baker or if it's just again the receivers dropping everything, stuff like that. But I do like for the Saints in this spot, this could be a potential spot where you can kind of just play Tyler Shuck and DFS today. Cheapest guy, quarterback starting today. And again, talk about the matchup that he has, the 29th ranked pass defense in the Bucks. And again, a couple weeks back reiterated to why that is, because again, when they bring the blitz, they're a way better team defensively versus when they sit back. So I expect them obviously to bring the blitz today against Tyler Shuck, but Tyler Shuck has been really good against the blitz. And again, Chris Olave is healthy, is going to play today. There's other weapons in New Orleans offense, and talked about this before. Like both of these teams right now in top 5 in pace. So this is a sneaky spot. I feel as long as it lands, you could be in a decent spot later for your overall lineups when it comes to DFS. And then for season-long purposes, no Mike Evans today, but he's expected to play Thursday. So just somehow, some way, you didn't double check your waivers, and Mike Evans still out there, whatever. Like I don't know what you're doing. You better get off the stream.
I don't know what you're doing. Get your life together. Get your shit together.
Doing some rookie moves if you
rookie moves.
You know what I mean? Like not this time of the year, man. You can't do it. But again, like I do like some New Orleans pieces today in the spot. Juwan Johnson, our boy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like my guy, like since like week 1 or week 2, when I put him in the Fantrax article, I'm like, yo, you gotta go get this guy. Pace, you know what I'm saying? Like, just all of it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy he's consistently been a decent piece down the stretch. There was a little bit of a stretch where he wasn't, but anyhow, yeah, in this spot, like you like Chris Godwin, obviously, that's your boy in the spot, right?
Yeah.
Irving, you know what I'm saying? Like Bucky,
I'm there for that too. I'm there for it too. Like this is you. I mean, you mentioned it, man. Like Juwan Johnson, like there's a couple of tight ends that I really, really love today, and Juwan Johnson.
It's a good day for tight end plays today.
Yeah. Juwan Johnson is absolutely one of the guys like I really love, just from the standpoint of the fact that like he actually has played really good actually against the Bucs. In the last 4 games, he had one game 6 receptions for 80 yards. The other one he had 8 for 90 on the touch. So I like that. And the same thing with Chris Godwin, 11 catches, 125 yards, and 2 touchdowns last year. In last year's game, 78 points was scored in that game right there. And I'm gonna say this, and like don't kill me for saying this, because I was like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, leap year tends to come out in these games right here. Yeah, he does. And if you don't know, and if you don't know who leap year is, that's Sean Tucker. That's leap year. He tends to come out in those spaces, man. So I think I definitely like I like that. And then just the Bucs receivers as a whole. Mike Evans last year, 9 for 89. Obviously, things were a little bit slowed down this year in October when they played. It was just Tez Johnson for the 5 for 43. And what a lot of points scored. But like to your point, like it has the potential. So like if you're in the GPP format, definitely obviously throw some darts out there. But Bucky Irvin, man, like to your point, like he's a guy.
Salary too.
Yeah, man. When I did my runs this morning, I was like, okay, I did them, and then I was like, I'm gonna go back and just add Bucky. I'm gonna crank him up just a little bit more. So I think like just some forgotten spots like for the Bucs, right? Like Emeka Egbuka slowed down. He slowed down for sure. That dog loves the tone of my voice, apparently.
I know, right?
He loves my voice. DMX, baby. Yeah, like I think like Emeka's been a forgotten man. He's slowed down a little bit. But also too, man, like when we were talking about players, the second part of the year, Bucky Irvin has averaged 112 scrimmage yards per game since the Buccaneers week 11 bye in 2024. And granted, obviously, I know he hadn't played a lot of games this year, but like, man, like, we shushing low key. But you know what? That's that's why the people are watching. They're gonna be in good spaces right there. You know what I mean? Tell your friends about it. So I think I like that for him for sure. And again, man, like division games, man,
so
crazy.
Price tag on DraftKings today. I think it's 21. Like that's
21. 21. Yeah. So yeah, I like the Bucs in this spot right. They're still obviously in playoff contention. Saints have been pesky. And again, man, this is also a game, like you got some games that got some weather concerns today, whether it's like coldness and frigidness and snow or rain. This is a nice spot. And I'm pretty sure, Baker's coming off a bye as well. So, you mentioned, just how healthy is he? Baker's tougher than a $2 steak, man. So let's go. Buccaneers.
Nice, yeah. I like it. Yep, I'm in agreement with you on that one as well. Okay, going to the crap game of the week. Titans, Browns. 4.5 for the Titans going to Cleveland. Over under 33.5. Look, man. It's football, right? Got to enjoy every game while we can, because then we'll be going through withdrawals late February, right? So that being said, the weather, as far as like conditions go and stuff, it was still like a yellowish, you know what I'm saying? Like, concern, more wind, more of the wind concerns than anything else. So you could potentially expect both of these teams to be running the football. Waiting for Sampson to find out if he's going to be playing or not, because that could tilt some things my way in terms of deploying Judkins at 6,400 today on DraftKings, especially in a spot where again, football has to be played. And this could be a spot where the public may not be on Judkins in this spot, but I could definitely see a scenario where you could definitely be playing him. When it comes to just, again, the Titans, like, they are a defense that just, they stink. This defense, again, another defense that uses a ton of cover 4, cover 3s. So again, if Shador finds a way to, be able to deliver the football to some of these weapons, I like Harold Fannin in this spot, like, just because of how that's been his first read consistently since he's been the starter. It feels like Jerry Jeudy, Tillman, all these other guys, like, they don't really get enough love here when he's at quarterback. And just like, he looks to just find Fannin. So Fannon's probably like the guy, like, if you are in a pinch today at tight end, it's not allowed on the waiver wire, or you're able to hang on to him. He's someone that I'm definitely like eyeing in terms of like if I need to play him today or not. As far as like this ugly game goes, dare I say, can this over hit 33.5? Like,
that's literally what I was thinking. I was like, they're 2 NFL teams. I was like, 33.5 is like, that's pretty low, man. Whew, man. Nice. Listen, nice. I know some Titan fans that ain't even gonna be watching this game. Oh man, they probably giving these tickets away, man.
Yeah, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to go to an NFL game?
Yeah. $12. That'll be $8.
So I mean, look, it's like, just look at the conditions. Like, it just seems like there's gonna be a mix, but that's not until like 3-something o'clock. So
yeah,
that's gonna be well within game time. And the wind gust seems to be like 12 miles per hour, 15 miles an hour. So not a concern there. It's just, again, these teams are just bad. That's the other concern.
So like what this man, like I was like looking to try to
go Titans, because I want the Jets to.
Of course, like I'm like a passive aggressive troll, and I was
we know that. If anyone's ever watched this show before, newsflash.
There was a video that was like, it was Cam Ward and Shador Sanders, and all they were doing was just like talking trash to each other the entire time. And I don't know for what reason. The only thing I could think about was just the two of us. That's all I could think about.
Oh my gosh,
that's all I could think about. And here they are now, both right, like in the league, having the opportunity to play against each other for sure. Which, I mean, this is definitely not a sexy game, but I am happy and I'm excited for both of these guys to actually be able to have the opportunity to start for NFL franchises, and obviously just see what's out there, right? Shador, one of the things, the interesting stats for him, again, kind of very similar to Tyrod Taylor, is him pushing the ball down the field. He's pushed the ball down the field more in the last 2 weeks than Dylan Gabriel has since when Dylan Gabriel was the quarterback. Then about 25% of his passes as well are behind the line of scrimmage. So really just there's that. And then like a lot of his yardage or his statistical yardage has actually come on Yak as far as the Browns go. So I think like those are some interesting stats, right? But I think like that's who Shador has been. Like that's who he's been. And I think like, don't get what I'm going to say like out of context. Please, for God's sakes, don't. But like, I mean, I think that was very similar to like Tom Brady, like early on, man. Like a lot of like what he did was short and intermediate, like short. And like it was a lot of things like after the catch, like with those guys spreading people out. And I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders is Tom Brady. Please don't get it twisted by any stretch of the imagination. But like I just thought those were like a couple of really interesting stats. The Titans, I mean, listen, like what do you say? What do you do? What do you say? What do you do? Like they're 1-11. They're not a very good football team. They're going to play who I will say, because this is what it is, the baddest defensive player on the planet in Myles Garrett. You don't have an answer.
Oh, wait. Steelers fan said that?
Listen, I told you. Listen, I told you. Listen. This is a year I can't even argue about it this year. Like at least TJ, I can't.
Even if you did fight against it, you're a loser for doing it.
Thank you. So like I'm not even like going there, bro. So yeah, so Myles Garrett, like they don't have an answer for him. I think we know what this Browns defense has been. So I think this is just a bad recipe for the Titans with how bad the Titans offense has been, the worst offense in the league, and marrying that with how good the Browns defense is. The one thing you talked about, Quinshawn, man, I mean, like the Titans, like they're not that bad against the run, man. Like they're not. So I think like this is just like a really interesting spot for sure, because if the offense opens up for the Browns, and I think we know Quinshawn, like he can get busy for sure. If it is what it is,
more passes too. That was something I was like, oh.
Yeah, like he has, and like the other thing, like I'm starting to notice about him too, man, is like he's just very touchdown dependent, and like that's just what it is. You know, he's very touchdown dependent, and I think like, yeah, I'll keep going, and then I'll go back to like my two other thoughts, but he's just very touchdown dependent, which is fine, man, right? Like, I mean, it is what it is, but like in a game that's got an over for 33.5, like, I mean, obviously if he gets 2 touchdowns, like. He's accountable for right, you know what I mean? So I just have a hard time in my mind going, all right, like this makes sense. And speaking of, dude, what the hell happened to Ohio State last night? Like that's crazy, bro.
Oh wow, he actually inserted the college line. Yeah.
Well, obviously, maybe go there with Quinshawn, man, and like what, like man, like one of my cousins, man, like I'm super close with, is like a diehard OSU fan, and like he's the guy that like if they lose it,
Indiana, though. You know what I'm saying? Them, like come on.
Yeah,
I'm happy about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm happy about it because we're always seeing Ohio State. We're always seeing these same damn teams.
I've never had a problem
rivals won yesterday too in convincing fashion. You know what I'm saying? Georgia.
Anyways, my other piece that I was going to go back to was I just happened to look, man, like just on the weather side of things. We were talking about the Tampa game. So Kevin Roth from Roto Grinders was just talking about how Tampa, that might not be that. Yeah, that smells like something he would do right there. That smells like well, yeah,
a little five on that, like a little sprinkle on that.
Yeah, that smells like him. It says that Tampa now is more interesting rain-wise with the batch of moisture that's coming that way. So like maybe we might have to
everything
right. Like maybe we might have to reverse pivot because you just said. And now he's saying like Jacksonville is certainly going to be wet, but the latest high resolution models have the truly heavy downpours holding just north. So like if that's the case, then like we're gonna have to kind of pivot like some of these DFS lineups, which is literally my favorite thing to do. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, man. Just all the stuff we said about the Tampa game. So that was all I had, man.
Sweet, perfect. Cleveland and
Cleveland.
Cleveland and the over. Because
I'm with you. Yeah, points. Yeah, and the Titans, man, for DFS, the Titans are the highest on. Like, I mean, I know they were the highest on defense on FanDuel when I looked this morning. I hadn't checked DraftKings, so I'll check DraftKings now. They're actually the second highest on defense. So, yeah.
You said Cleveland is?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be 3,700. Yeah, they should be.
Yeah.
They should be.
Yep.
Moving on, we got another game where I'm kind of I'm like targeting maybe a piece or two of this spot. Commanders getting a 1.5 on the road going into Minnesota. Take on the Vikings. Minnesota. Over under 43.5. What I like about this game really is Jaden Daniels coming back, baby. And I really do think it's a contrarian spot for Jaden Daniels here. 6K in a spot where for the Commanders, I mean, they're not playing for nothing. Neither of these teams really are now. But what I will say is that, Vikings play a ton of too high shell among them blitzing a ton. This should open things up for anything short and intermediate. So this should be Debo or Ertz again coming in through. Again, Vikings play too high at a 66% clip. And Daniels is number 1 in passer rating, 7th in yards per attempt against too high. That was something that spoke out to me because I think this could easily be. I mean, I'm frustrated that, overall it hasn't happened more this season. But Deebo Samuel, I have not gotten off the wagon. Help me.
Well, it's funny, actually, because when I was doing my bills, I was like, I could just hear you. Yeah, I know, Pookie. Keeps calling me, man.
Or Deebo Samuel, guys. Remember him? He used to be so great.
Hey man, y'all got Deebo Samuels?
I'm a mess this morning, people. But anyhow, what am I not? But I'll say this: I think that the matchup is definitely there. For Deebo today, Terry McLaurin as well. You know what I'm saying? He's 5,200 on DraftKings. Is probably going to get a ton of ownership potentially because of the price tag and what he just did against Denver. So that's somewhere a spot where you could definitely go to. If you've been holding on to McLaurin all this time, this is still a decent spot. And the same thing for Debo. And then Ertz, obviously, where'd that performance come from? Good Lord, Ertz.
Fountain of youth, baby. Fountain of youth. Got that creatine.
Literally. You know what I'm saying? So, again, so I think there's a lot to love in this matchup. Obviously, the Viking side of things, we talk about Commanders defense too. This could be a spot where, we're not solid on JJ McCarthy. This Vikings offense has been, I'll let you take that away because I know Justin.
You gonna let me tell you? Yeah, he is my boy, man. Yeah, he is my boy.
I'll let you have your moment.
Yeah, dude, I random.
It's like pouring beer over a grave right now.
Literally. I remember.
There's talk that he might even not hit 1,000 yards receiving. Bro.
I know. I see. Well, you said Minnesota, and it made me think about Scott Fish, repping Scott Fish Bowl. So, good luck to everybody out there in the Scott Fish Bowl still. And then, the Justin Jefferson, my mind is I'm going 1,000 miles here.
You're so just clinging on to Scott Fish this year because you're not in your home league playoffs.
Bro, I absolutely am. Dude, this is my first year ever making the Scott Fish Bowl playoffs, bro. I'm jacked. Are you kidding me? Dude, my teams have sucked so bad the last 2 years. Hell yeah, I'm holding on to it.
It's been a longer way of celebration for you.
Hell yeah. Matter of fact, I'm putting it in my profile. I don't even care. I don't care. I sure am. Yeah.
Oh man, that's
funny. This game reminds me of playing Madden. This game reminds me of Madden, is what it reminds me of. The Vikings blitzing on every down and the Commanders running no huddle offense. That's what this game literally reminds me of. For my notes, I'm this game is Madden. It's literally what I put. This game is Madden. And you talked about Jaden Daniels and his performance against too high safety. That's cool. But the only problem is, man, he's got a 41 completion percentage versus the blitz this year. So it'll be interesting to see, man, how this all shakes out. And obviously, man, he's been in and out of the lineup all year long. I want him to do well for sure. And I even put a couple pieces in there for him as well in some GPP just too. But the Commanders defense, that's the defense I love today for sure. Because I think the one thing that we know is it doesn't look like 9 is going to get any better. And I don't know, maybe it does. Hopefully it does. Because, I've been on record for being a Kevin O'Connell guy, obviously. I was gonna say the first time I went off the board and took Justin Jefferson #1 overall was the year that JT was the traditional #1 overall pick, and I remember I threw my entire home league draft into a frenzy by doing that, and it worked out well. I won. So, but yeah, like I just don't see anything getting better for the Vikings. I know Aaron Jones has got some ownership on FanDuel. But I think it's kind of the same situation. They talked about it on Sunday Night Football, how the Commanders they went away from the man-to-man coverage and started playing more of a zone coverage. And I think, right,
sure did.
like, seeing that and seeing the impact like that had, I think like the Commanders are back in a spot where, like, it's not cool to see this team's name on your schedule, especially trying to come down the stretch. The Vikings don't have anything to play for, as you mentioned. But man, like what a nightmare. I do like a couple of pieces, man. I think, like you mentioned, like Terry McLaurin, I think like it just feels like this is a really good day for him. Just because like he's finally healthy at week 14. And like, yeah, you got your money, bro, but like you're going home in like 4 weeks, man. And like, yes, your life is better than mine. Yeah, yes, your life is better than mine. But like, bro, you're going home. So yeah, I like the Commanders in this spot for sure. I think there's just a lot of really good pieces here in place for them. I don't want to call them value, but I just think they're unplayed pieces when you go and you look at the ownership side of things. Like I said, obviously the Commanders are at 20% defense. Jaden Daniels is at 12%, and Terry McLaurin, he's at 15% ownership. So this is on DraftKings. So looks like some people are getting there on the Commander side, but obviously not a lot of people are getting there on the Viking side. But give me the Commanders. I think they hold this one down. I'll take them in the points in this one for sure.
Yeah, pretty much I pick them in this spot. You like the over? Like the under?
I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over in this spot. And I told you, like, I hate messing with like over unders. Like, I just I'm terrible with over unders. Like the game itself, I'll do fine with. So like that's why, yeah, like the Commanders, like I'm fine with. But yeah.
Understood. Yeah, I got the Commanders as well. Colts, Jags, in a game that could really be an interesting turn of events for the winner and loser. Colts getting the 1.5 going into Jacksonville, where we again saw, we talked about it a little bit earlier how the rain is going to be impacted a little bit. This is a spot where the rain could definitely be impacted for sure because it's in Jacksonville, so it's definitely more the heaviest rain according to Kevin Roth is definitely more up north. So and that's where Jacksonville is. If you know your geography, Jacksonville is in the northwest part of Florida.
Man, I just copied off the kid next to me in school. So
now that was C+ minded.
That's it, baby. That's it.
Oh man, I can't, But what I will say in this spot is, can you double check Brenton Strange's ownership right now? I think he's someone that really should garner some attention. Colts are second.
People moved off of it, man.
I'm sorry?
People moved off of it, 4%.
Oh, yes. Love it. Yeah, Brenton Strange in your lineups, people. Brenton Strange is someone I'm definitely going to be on today. And it's more about just the matchup. Like, Colts have allowed second most yardage to tight ends this year. They've averaged in adjusted points allowed to tight ends, they're fifth as well. So great spot for not only DFS, but also your season long lineups today. If you have, again, you're able to have Strange, or you're able to, you can keep him all this time, your tight end too, whatever. This is definitely a good spot to have him. The Jaguars as well. Last like 3 games or so, like the team they've been pretty much up at the half consistently. So it's led to less scripts where they've had to throw the football. So I think in hindsight with Jonathan Taylor, you know what I'm saying? Like overall, like if the Jaguars find themselves behind today, we could see more of a Strange. We could see obviously more Myers. We could see more of your boy.
No, we won't. He's dead to me.
Oh,
yeah, he's dead to me. Because I want to talk about somebody else. I don't want to talk about Brian Thomas Jr.
Fair enough. I just wanted you to say his name.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about him. Like,
Oh
Like, I'm
man,
so sour about him in my
bring
home.
back Mac Jones.
So no, don't even bring him back. Just let Brian Thomas Jr. be. Don't care.
Not BTJ anymore, huh?
I'll let somebody else get the value on him next year.
Oh man, he'll probably like a 4th round pick next year, probably.
Good. He should probably go in the 8th. Probably he should probably go in the 8th. Egg sucking dog. Yeah, like you talked about this game, man. Like, this was honestly, like, we were talking Friday on the pod, man. Like, this was my favorite game to get to on Friday. This one in the Dolphins and
Now
Jets, but now the rain, right? Now the rain, and I'm like, bro, like, you got to be kidding me, man. And now, like, I'm gonna have to like double stamp a triple stamp, and then reverse the vasectomy, snip, snap, snap, snip, snip, snap. Like, that's what it's gonna have to be. Yeah. Interesting stats about the Jags and Colts. The Jags have not allowed a running back to run for more than 70 yards.
Strange.
Love it. The Jags have not allowed a running back to run for more than 70 yards all season. So I thought that was a pretty interesting stat. Obviously, with JT coming to town, I was like, okay, like that's pretty solid. And then on the flip side, JT's got 5 100-yard rushing games.
He sure does.
So it's like, again, like, it's like that,
stack 2 games of at least over 200 rushing yards.
I don't know if it's rushing or total yards. I don't know right off the rip. But then the guy I want to talk about, the pass catcher, like Brenton Strange, I'm all in with you on him right there for sure. Like, there's no convincing that needs to happen there. But since the trade for Jacoby Myers, he's had a 21% target share, 245 yards, which is actually 13th in the league. So he's actually been money, man. And I thought I had a really good thing going with like a core of my lineups as I was making them. I was like, oh, well, between him and Michael Wilson and Chris Godwin, I was like, man, like, there's some like really cheap wide receivers for me to like have here and like play. And then the rain. Then the other, I'm like, bro, you got to be kidding me. And the other really interesting stat as far as like Daniel Jones goes, this is the first time in his entire career where he did not have a actual rushing attempt in a game. And it's obviously due to that the fracture. So if there was no rain, this would be the game, like, no question, because the pass catchers are extremely cheap on the Jacksonville side of things, and even on the Indianapolis side of things, they're extremely cheap. Obviously, we know what it is with JT. Trevor Lawrence is still not priced appropriately for a quarterback who's been a top 10 fantasy quarterback over the last 3 weeks. So, like, and even still, kind of to your point, even if you want to get a little bit different, right, and you want to sprinkle in some of this game here, you'll probably have some leverage on the field. I'm probably going to go back and find a way to see if I can't just like maybe work a couple more into these here. Travis Etienne, we're waiting on him to, like, I say we're waiting on him. Like, now, like, Michelle Tootin is like taking end zone carries away from her, or red zone carries away from her. So it's a really like wild situation there. As far as like the Jags go. But again, here they are, man. Like, this game is for first place in the AFC South. So I would imagine, it's going to be a good one. I say I hate it that the rain is here, but like, who knows, man? Maybe it might end up being one of the better games on the slate this week. So we'll see. But overall, I'll take the Jags. No mas, Danny Quarters, Danny Nichols is back. I love it. No. Like, don't even do that. No, call him Daniel. Call him Daniel. Can't give him a nickname. Give him Daniel. Daniel's back.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Longer Danny. Jesus. Just taking names back left and right, aren't you today?
That's my specialty, baby. That's what I do. That's my specialty.
I give him nicknames. I take him back. Damn it.
That's right. Johnny Main giveth, Johnny Main taketh away.
On to a game that, again, implications. The Bengals are not eliminated yet. They still have an opportunity. That's all I'll say. But the Bengals getting 6 points going on the road to Buffalo. Look, do or die scenario for Cincinnati rest of the season if they want to have any shot making the playoffs. Also, Bills here. Like, look, man, New England on bye, and they lose this game. Mathematically, no division crown for the Buffalo Bills at all. Over under 53.5. I believe that's the highest on the slate.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah,
it's got to be. Yeah.
For overall spread wise. So, yeah, like the cream of the crop of the 1 p.m. games. So, I mean, what's not to like about this game? I know Buffalo, they have a little bit of concern when it comes to snow game potentially. As far as like the freezing conditions and stuff like that. So obviously you'll be playing in Buffalo Candlestick Park. So yeah, I mean the 53.5 like seems a bit excessive, but we've seen crazier outcomes, right? Like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes several years ago in the playoffs, right? Like we've seen that happen. I think I still go slight a little under though. I know the points can definitely get there, but it's a slight under for me in this spot if I was actually going to take the over under. Bengals and Bills. We all know the Bengals defense loves to keep everything underneath. They still play too high shell at a decent clip, but it's also more about they're still a top 5 team when it comes to allowing under 10 yards, like a lot of yards after the catch. So with the Bengals defense, it's obviously something that they've been a little bit better, but it's still on matchup on paper. It's still James Cook time. Buffalo has a lead. And anytime they do, James Cook is the one that truly benefits when that happens. Averages 25 DraftKings points this season in wins. And obviously we know Buffalo is a 6-point favorite at home. So 7,800 on DraftKings, like he's someone that honestly, like he's game script proof in a way, because if he doesn't do it on the ground, he can still do some decent things receiving. And like I talked about the stat, like he can still get a ton of work underneath. So James Cook, like, is he a lock? He's very close to being a lock. And I hate saying that because I don't like James Cook, but it is what it is. So 7,800 on DraftKings, he's probably one of the guys I'll be looking to probably get in some of my personal lineups today. But what I'll say to the game purpose is that Burrow and these guys ain't out of it. And until they are out of it, like, it's like, this is great because I was able to pick up Burrow several weeks ago up to waiver wires when people dropped him. And leagues where, you can have an IR spot or whatever. So I felt like a genius picking him up. And now I have one team. Oh, this is the draft night out lineup team. I have Lamar, Drake May, and Burrow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Whew. Terrible. But that being said, like, I'll take Buffalo in this spot. They have to win in order to really keep themselves, ahead. And again, with the Patriots feeling like they just kind of almost running away with the 1 seed, literally almost, it feels like that. What a damn year right now. If you're a Patriots fan, like, good Lord. But yeah, I'll take Buffalo. I think no Darius Slay for them, right? Like, yo,
this guy's full of jokes.
That's good news and bad news for Buffalo.
You on your way to the top. You're the next Lily Bruce. Damn, that boy funny.
I just think I'm funny. I'm not really funny. Okay. I just think I am, but it doesn't mean I am funny. But that being said, yep, Kincaid is active today. Pick is in saying it's got to be Jonah. Brown and Cook today both have 100 yards plus today. That's definitely possible. Well, we'll get to that later on. But definitely a spot where this could be a game where both running backs are definitely in a spot where to succeed. And then no one's talking about P. Ryan.
You ain't let me talk baby. You ain't let me talk.
Yeah, we all know. We all know. We'll get to that later in my segment. Yeah. But that being said, I don't feel it's a timeshare, especially if we think that this game is going to be for the Bengals. They're going to be playing from behind constantly. Like Chase Brown's going to be in there a lot more. So I'll say this: like Buffalo for the win. The slight under. I still feel it's like a high game total. It feels like it still get to like a 48, but not a 54. What are you saying, John?
You talked about Kincaid. Like I found an interesting stat with Josh.
Josh tight ends.
Well, listen, you literally. I'm pretty sure on my notes I just wrote Bengals suck at life, but Kincaid, and Josh Allen this season, 6 touchdowns and no interceptions when targeting Dalton Kincaid. So I thought that was a really interesting. Listen, if you want something broken, just let me talk about it. So sorry for your bad luck out there, peeps. And then
like about the Chicago receivers.
You mentioned about Samaje Perine. He's somebody that did make my GPP player pool as well, just because like Rick, as you mentioned, like it just feels like there's a spot where like he would be getting some action, right? And Chase Brown, like definitely like there this week for sure with him. And then I'm just gonna start calling Joey B the boogeyman is what I'm gonna start calling him. I'm gonna start calling him the boogeyman. He is 2-0 against Josh Allen all time for sure. And then when you look at like Joe Burrow's play in December, in January, he takes it to another level. And what am I angling towards? And I love the James Cook pick, by the way. Like James Cook, Chase Brown, like Dalton Kincaid, Jamar Chase, like they're slammed into my lineup. Yeah, I'm playing. But the games have never gotten there either, man. Like I'm playing them independent. I'm playing them independent of the game, like the game stack, but I'm playing them just as individual pieces. But like I think the Bengals. I like the Bengals in this spot, man. Like I do. I think like they're playing at a different space. Like they got nothing to play for. They got their guy back. Like everybody's back. Like remember, man. Like, and I say this for everybody, just in general. This was an offense. Like we know what it is defensively. We already know what it is. But this is an offense that, like, for the first time all year long, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki, like they're all there. They are all there. And like I think if and I know you're like, watch this thing go up in smoke and everybody like carted out on stretchers.
No, I'm hearing you, bro.
Yeah, but like the Bills, like I think like we all can be like the Bills have beaten up on bad teams. Like they've beaten up on bad teams. And like I don't know that Cincinnati necessarily fits the description as a bad team with what they have offensively. So like +6 for Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, traditionally what he's done like at this point in time of the year, like he's just always been better the second half of the year. Always has been better the second half of the year. Man, I'm gonna take the Cincinnati Bengals in this one, man. Like I like it. Like this is. I think this is gonna be my upset. I say upset. I think it's gonna be one of my upset picks of the week. Is this one? Okay. But and Josh Allen, I will say this: Josh Allen at home. Josh Allen at home is a different beast too. He is a different beast. So I won't disrespect him. Yeah, I won't disrespect him, but I do like the Bengals in this space, man.
This just feels like a spot where Buffalo, if it's gonna be a game, Josh Allen, you know what I'm saying? This is the spot where I may want to like reconsider about like using him in this spot because it's like we know Josh Allen, right? The only time Josh Allen becomes Superman is when he gets pushed. You know what I'm saying? He has the matchup on paper. He has a quarterback that could potentially push him. So this could be a spot, 7,700 on DraftKings. Like, you know, he's definitely the highest priced quarterback by far and the highest, you know, over under. But it would make some type of sense to see a 40-point possible explosion here from Josh Allen. It happened a couple weeks ago when they were playing Tampa. Like, we all know Baker Mayfield was pushing, you know what I'm saying? That game.
Yeah.
So it's totally possible. Like, it's just like likely to happen.
It's gonna be a good one.
Like, you know, you need that type of performance for Josh Allen if you think he's in that spot. Like, that would make some sense. And I think the pieces are there. So I may have to reconsider, like, ooh, I might play Josh Allen today. I don't normally say that. So
no, me either.
I don't usually talk about Josh Allen that game.
No, because you can't get to him because he's like, you know, he's like 9,200 on FanDuel or like, you know, 7,800 on DraftKings or 8,100. So like, that's the weird thing about this slate this week is like, there's definitely players that are mispriced, and then there's players that are overpriced. Totally. And so like, yeah. But anyway, totally I can go on and on. Old man ranting.
To the 4:00 games, where you go? Denver, Las Vegas. A rematch of Thursday from a couple weeks ago, and how the most boring game of the season. A 10-7 win by Denver. Can you believe they won 9 straight now?
Man,
9 straight, bro.
Listen, bro. Listen. I'll go ahead and jinx them because I jinxed the Rams last week, so I'll go ahead and jinx these guys. Why not? Like they were the best, 10-2 team in
They
the league.
They almost lost on freaking Sunday. So yeah,
but that's it. That's their MO, man. That's their MO. That's what they do. And then when the game is second half of the game, man, it's like it's crazy to say, but like the second half of the game, like right now, who would you rather have? Like Bo Nix is like the guy you would want because he continues to keep leading his teams to win. Don't matter. It don't like all that other stuff don't matter. Like it's about wins and losses in the NFL, and the Denver Broncos are 10-2, man.
Sure are.
Yeah.
They sure are. Continue.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like for me, like I think like this is like the Raiders are they're still a shit show. Like I don't care how close like the game was, like they're still a shit show, and it's not gonna change my mind. Like they played tough on Thursday night, for sure. But I think like that's a really great, again, hey man, I'm just out here getting by on my charisma and good looks and being a C+ podcaster, so I don't know shit about shit. But I'll say that like if I was Sean Payton, I'd be telling my team that like, yo, like. That's a classic example of what happens, like, when you don't show up to play, right? And I don't think he has to say that. I think all those guys know. But division games are weird. Like, it is in Vegas. Like, there is nothing to play for the Raiders except for this. And, like, now, like, I think, like, this team might actually be worse than they were, the previous Thursday night game. Like, you know what I mean? So, and then some things are different now, right? Like, now we got RJ Harvey, man, like, now, like, in the full-blown – leading back role for the Broncos. So obviously, like he's a player that's definitely in play today for DFS. And then like just the receivers for the Broncos, man. Like you look and like I think like that's the thing now. Like when you look at the Broncos, it feels like again like there is no defined number one wide receiver because there's weeks where it's Sutton, there's weeks where it's Franklin, there's weeks where it's Mim. You've seen Evan Ingram getting in the mix. You've seen Pat Bryant starting to come on. So like this is like
roulette.
Yeah, basically, bro. Basically. So yeah. So like obviously, man, like I like the Broncos. I don't think there's like a whole hell of a lot to talk about, even from like a notes and analytics side of things. I just think like, hey man, here's a really good, potentially a Super Bowl team going against a team that's going to have one of the top 3 picks in the NFL draft. I think we know what the outcome is going to be.
Yep. The only thing I'll say is that obviously we know the Raiders, they play the most zone coverage in the NFL. So this could be Troy Franklin or this could be Courtland Sutton in this spot for me. So I think 5,600 on DraftKings for Courtland Sutton in a spot where it's low key makes a ton of sense because it's a nice pivot off Michael Wilson.
Yes,
we'll talk about. So it's something where if you think this game could get more than 17 points, which I think they definitely can, I think the Raiders can push them a little bit, but not as much as we think. But again, it's a decent pivot off, and people are talking about Pat Bryant. I mean, look, like that's totally possible too. Like, and then the metrics speak for itself with Pat Bryant too. So, we'll just have to find out how it all shakes out. But I'm not trying to go there. You know what I'm saying for this game. But again, it's for a overall, like if you're, especially if you're playing just a 4:00 slate or whatever, or something like that. Like it's something where I think Courtland Sutton makes a ton of sense to play at 5,600. Next game we got Bears and Packers. So Bears leading the NFC North coming into this matchup. Oh boy. Oh my.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying,
Bears getting disrespected by the books though. A 7-point underdog once again, right? Last week was a 7-point underdog against Philly. What happened there? So look, I think Bears getting 7 is a bit disrespectful, especially for how we know how Green Bay is. I know no Roma Dunze and stuff like for this Bears defense. for this Bears offense. And I also know this Bears defense is not anything to write home about. But like I said before, they're a bend but don't break defense. They allow a ton of yardage, and they have and again the secondary is pretty much a mess. But again, like when push comes to shove, they do know how to make a play in the game. So I'll just say this: Caleb Williams has been pretty decent this year, right? I think in this spot, you're gonna need him to. Look,
talk about it. Yeah.
Definitely. Let's talk
about it. Yeah.
Because you were definitely on it. So
yeah,
and I was definitely behind you. So I like. I
even got painted fingernails out here to rock it today. You know what I mean?
Now that I didn't expect.
Oh,
Looked like one of your daughters came in the room last night and
oh
gave you a
yeah,
little
oh yeah.
booster
You
thing,
know,
like, you know?
little mama hooked it up, so it's all good.
But I'll say this: Caleb Williams, obviously, even though we're at Romadunze, there's still a ton of weapons here for Chicago. We all know Green Bay has again been a team that, man, I don't know. Again, what I will say though is that I know Green Bay plays third highest zone coverage in the NFL, and Caleb Williams has kind of struggled against that. But I will say that in a spot like this, it may not matter. I think Caleb Williams could still get some decent yardage on the ground, and then that could open up things more, especially for check down purposes. And that's where Luther Burden comes in. That's where Swift comes in. DJ Moore, one play action pass downfield, and all of a sudden we're screaming DJ Moore's praises. So this could be a spot where I do like Chicago 7 points. I like Green Bay as a team. It's just, again, I can't really fully trust what they do on a regular basis. They're still not completely healthy. But I do expect that they showed up against Detroit. We called that last week in a spot where, Green Bay was, giving it to them. So this will be a long game, I think, but long-winded way of saying I like Chicago in the points today. And Green Bay with Jordan Love, I expect the Bears to hopefully bring some more pressure because we all know how Jordan Love is with a clean pocket. He slices and dices. So I like the over here, even though with the weather feeling like a little out of sorts. But I do think it's a good spot for division opponents and finding out what these teams is made of. So give me the Bears +7.
You talked about the Bears defense, man. I mean, they have 15 interceptions. I think they actually lead the NFL in takeaways. They are bend but don't break defense, but they have been able to turn people over for sure. And that's obviously been super helpful. And then you look on the Packers side of things, man. This is actually crazy. The Packers have allowed 13 points per game in their 3 losses in 2025. So I think that's even more of a formula in my opinion. This suggests the Bears. Just because I think we know it's not always yes +7 for the Bears and a half all day. I think we know sometimes they don't put up these offensive explosions. And then the other thing too is just the difference that a year makes now in this offensive line when you talk about the Chicago Bears, right? As far as Caleb Williams being sacked last year, not only obviously was he the most sacked quarterback in the league, but this year now. Last year he was also the most sacked quarterback in the league by untouched pass rushers. So now those numbers have obviously went in the other direction. And now is he lighting the world on fire statistically from a fantasy football side of things? No, he's not. But he's also been very solid, right? And I think it's just a maturation piece. And I think obviously the pedigree's there. He's going to continue to learn how to play quarterback. But again, at the end of the day, we play fantasy football. These guys play real football. And the Chicago Bears have a chance to actually take down the division. The Packers have been really good too against mobile quarterbacks. So I think that's an element of Caleb Williams' game that's grossly underrated. I don't think it's going to be there today. And then you mentioned DJ Moore, man. You mentioned DJ Moore. He's actually he's been the guy the last 2 times that they played, man. Back in November of 2024, he had 7 catches for 62 yards. January of last year, when the Bears were able to pull off the upset, he had 9 catches for 86 yards and 1 touchdown. So you talk about from a price point, obviously a lot of people love Luther Burden today, rightfully so. He's definitely going to be a very chalky player. But then you also have Colston Loveland as well. One of your guys in your space as far as tight ends go. And it's been a very big tip. And I thought this was a pretty interesting stat. Pretty much any time he lines up in the slot, they're throwing the ball. And he had a 20% target share there. And I think obviously, with no Roma Dunze there today, I think things are definitely going to look a lot different as far as the pecking order. So I do like him a lot today, in this game. And then switching over to the Green Bay side of things, Josh Jacobs is averaging 4.6 yards per carry. He's kind of a forgotten man right now. Chicago's averaging 5.2 yards. Allowing 5.2 yards. So I think maybe if this game is one of those knockdown, drag out fights we think it's going to be, Josh Jacobs is the place to go to in that space. So overall, man, this again, man, a lot of really good division games today. Shout out to the NFL for actually getting something right. And then you got, my guy Christian Watson, a year too early. He's coming in at 13% for the Green Bay Packers. And you mentioned it, man, like with Jordan Love, right? Like he's another guy that like I'm a big fan of. And like, yeah, like if he has a clean pocket against
it looks like we both won that debate between Dak and Jordan Love earlier.
I would say so. I think so, man. I think so. And I think humbly speaking, like I would definitely say, like, I think from a fantasy side of things, I think Dak has definitely been a better play for sure. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna I'll be real with it for sure. But I think like Jordan Love is still like I still wouldn't have a problem having him on my roster. I think he would still would have turned out pretty well for you. So I think, it just goes to show, two different minds, two different thoughts. You can get, very similar results. Although I might like yours a little bit better, but I won't say that out loud.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, you know what I'm here for. So give me the Bears plus 7.5 in this game.
Makes sense to me. Hopefully my guy Swift can continue rolling, baby. And that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, but obviously that's a nice little victory lap for me at the end of the year. I told you about the DeAndre Swift. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
The same thing about the Bonnet, right? All right. Last game we're going on to for the 4:00 slate and the rest of these games before they kick off. Rams getting 10 points going on the road to Arizona. 9-3 versus 3-9. Over under 47.5. The big news: no Marvin Harrison Jr. Out with a heel injury. Also, no Walter Nolan. First round pick from Florida State, Alabama. Can't tell which one these days. But that's big in this matchup, and I'll talk about that also why too. And yeah, look, I know Arizona is like they're talk about being pesky. They've been a team that's literally been in almost every game, it feels like, this season. When you look back on things. And Brissett is pretty much the reason why. Like, look, this guy has been really consistent when it comes to getting this offense going. And with Brissett, like, again, he just, glorifies the pieces of this Arizona team that, like, for the last 2 years or whatever, it felt like they haven't really been there at all. Like, McBride was, like, a tight end that we loved, but never scored touchdowns. And then Marvin Harrison Jr. last year, like a guy that everyone thought he was going to be the truth. Kyler Murray's got a decent weapon, and then literally foiled his plans until Murray got hurt. So with Brissett now in the fold, like again, there's a lot of talk about Kyler Murray not coming back to Arizona. We'll talk about that obviously at a later day. But that being said, I think in this spot it's all Rams. I think Rams are probably feeling that bitter taste in their mouths of like knowing that they should have handled business in Carolina last week, didn't, and knowing that the Niners are right behind them, Seattle right behind them, knowing that they have to keep on winning to keep things more in check. I think the Rams just come out and do what they do best and go win this football game. Not touching the spread. I just think the Rams are going to win this thing money line wise because Arizona's been too pesky this season. And I'm not sure what kind of Arizona team I'm going to get because sometimes, again, with Seattle a couple weeks ago, they got slaughtered in the beginning of the game. I think they were down like 21 points or something really early and then, worked their way back a little bit. But again, I'm not touching the line. Taking the Rams to the money line. I think the over makes sense here in this spot. And again, like it just goes down to this, like the Rams are going to be able to, on paper should be able to run the football. Cardinals, the last 4 games, they've averaged a running back to average 80 yards or more and a touchdown. The last 4 weeks. So this is the week. And then you're telling me Walter Nolan's not going to be in today, which also weakens that pass rush completely for Arizona. And again, with Arizona not being healthy, per se, like, because who's going to play wide receiver 3 today for this team? Like, there's obviously, there's Michael Wilson on this team. There's McBride, but who else is going to get the ball? Because there's no Greg Dortch. He's on the IR now. No Zay Jones. He's out for the season. So, yeah. And then Michael Carter, he's going to be playing running back today with Zon midnight. And I think Trey Benson, I think I saw something earlier that he had to get activated this week or has to be activated.
It's coming soon. It's coming soon because like he's still out this week. Like I've been holding on.
Elijah Higgins, the tight end now.
Yeah.
That's a receiver.
All right, pass catcher. That boy catch ball. He catching.
Oh my goodness. Oh my. I'm not. That's all. That's all you, Haywood. That's all. That's all you. I can't believe you put a team like that in the dirt like that. That's sick.
No,
Stafford's going to go for 4+ touchdowns, and the Rams win by 20. That's sick. No faith in your team, yo.
Yeah, I mean, because like, here's the thing, man. Is like really like I'm looking at this, and like Stafford, actually, he did have a 4-touchdown game. Not last year, but the year before, they did have a 4-touchdown game. But other than that, he's been pretty average, man. And the Cardinals have been pesky, against the Rams. Like the last game of the year, that game was 9-13. And Trey McBride is the one consistent, obviously, for the Cardinals. That's a shock, right? Leading the team in receiving in all 3 of those games. Kyren Williams is a name that continues to pop, though, man. Like every time, like I'm looking back on this right here, as far as like the success that they've had. So maybe this is like a nice Kyren Williams spot here today. Yeah, like maybe it's a nice Kyren Williams spot, but like this game also feels like it should have it should also feel like it should have like that 47.5, because like we know, like I think the one thing fantasy managers, like the only thing we're just hoping for is like get down 21-0 Arizona so we can watch the Jacoby Brissett show go. Like let's watch it go, throw, go. That's really what it is, right? Because that's the only way like you really truly unlock the real fantasy friendly version of Jacoby Brissett. And nothing screams fantasy football like rooting for a starting quarterback on a 3-9 team. You know what I mean? Like it's my favorite thing. Like when you're like we're out at the bar. Yeah, like
I have to sit back and do that today. Like,
it's hilarious. Like you're at the bar and somebody's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" That guy's on my fantasy team. Wait, but like, why are you wearing a Steelers jersey? Oh, I could never do it. Hey, listen, there's a lot of things in life that some people can do that other people don't. And, unfortunately for all of us sick fantasy degenerates, this is our thing. This is what we do. Exactly. Yeah. So, and Michael Wilson, lemon pepper chalk of the week. You know what I mean? Like
lemon pepper chalk of the week, baby.
That's him, bro. That's him.
You gotta make a soundboard.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no, it is. It's going down. I was like, yeah. So, you know what? It's the lemon pepper chalk of the week, man. For sure with him. So, and I'm all in on that, man. Like he, obviously before Marvin Harrison came back, we talked about the 2-week span that he had, which was literally like the best 2-week span, in football for a wide receiver. So I think like it's very easy to go back to that spot. And then like when you look at the Rams, very expensive on all fronts and avenues when you talk about all their players. So if you're going to go there, you might as well just go there for the game stack. Last year in this game, Puka Nacua, 10 catches,
Puka,
129 yards last year. So I mean,
700 on DraftKings today, people.
Yeah, man. Yeah, get it how you live. You know what I mean? 5-star stunner. Yeah, man. So like, I'm gonna take the Rams in this spot, for sure. Like, I think although they freaking cost me in my survivor pool last week. Like, I don't want to go on that rant. They cost me. But I think this is definitely just a nice bounce back spot for him for sure. But I'm definitely playing a lot of Arizona Cardinals today. And I feel actually grossly okay with it. The only thing that like really kind of makes me a little bit worried is like the Rams defensive line like might kill Jacoby Brissett. That would be like the only thing that might like mildly worry me because they're pretty good.
They are.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah.
Sure. Yep. You ready to be play receiver out there today, bro?
Yeah, listen, man. You know what I mean? Listen,
you might pull a hammy at halftime.
Literally, almost pulled one walking down the bleachers at my daughter's swim meet, man. I was like, I had to grab the back of it. I was like, damn. I was like, I hope nobody ain't looking.
Oh, I can't, yo. That's crazy. All right. Well, we got all through the game by games. You already know what time it is now. Time for Thanks Prop Shop. We dropped down to 61% on the year, but 10-8 record this past week for week 13. Still not bad. Made a little coin. It's not as much coin we wanted to make, but don't worry. We're going to get back on track this week, folks. That being said, Prop Shop is 61% on the year, 113 and 71 on the year. Out here cooking through the season long as well. Again, just getting better stride, just a little feedback for me. Just get a little bit better stride when it comes to these props. Like, from a trends perspective. And I guess my stuff from last year versus this year was I was queuing in a little bit more on like quarterback passing yards. I definitely like to be playing a lot more just because I have the ball in their hands consistently. And also I tend to also do a little bit more live bets as well this year. So just getting into the nuances of that. And then also just, again, trying to target games that will give us, better over under potentials, and then trying to, lock down those better matchups solely. So that's just probably been the difference so far between the 55% last year and then the 61 so far this year. But core four bets for week 14, we in the house. That being said, this is what I got. So I already talked about this on the Pick Us In podcast. Like I said, our boy Haywood out there, and then Jonah, again, appreciate y'all for being out there. But I already said this and took this. Chase Brown over 75.5 rushing receiving yards. Look, I know P. Ryan got 15 touches this past week, but Brown has been very efficient and has been for quite some time. And he's someone that, I'm willing to go right back to the well on just because of the game environment. If we're saying the Bengals have an opportunity to make the upset, Chase Brown definitely has that within him. I've seen people take the longest rush today for him because obviously Buffalo is definitely a bottom 5 against the run for running backs on the fantasy season. And I do like that as well, but I do like the rush receiving because Chase Brown is one of those running backs that should still get volume in a game environment like this. You already know who I'm about to go to next. Devon Achane, baby. 80 rush yards or more. You already know. Jets against the run are the 25th ranked against the run, and Devon Achane has literally been cooking with hot grease in terms of against the run, rushing yards. He's been like the guy that has been receiving and stuff like that. But I tell you this much, he has at least 100 plus rushing yards in the last 3 games, and he's just cooking. So Devon Achane, you already know he's a staple, you know what I'm saying, over here, not only for my squads, but also absolutely today. At 8,800 on DraftKings, especially if you get some receiving work, can bring you to the definitely tip top. Core bet number 3, Mike Wilson over 67.5 receiving yards. Double check your line books and everything because that's probably changed. But this is based on opportunity, based on volume. Mike Wilson, he's been a freaking stud without Marvin Harrison out the lineup. And talk about it this much, he overall is a game breaker without Marvin Harrison Jr. So 67.5 just seems way too low for a guy that was getting a ton of volume without Marvin Harrison Jr. And then now add on these other injuries that we just talked about with the Cardinals receiving core. It's like what, him, McBride, and then what, Elijah Higgins? You know what I'm saying? It's like Michael Carter maybe getting some stuff underneath. And I don't think they're running the football against the Rams today. So, I don't see that really transpiring today. So, that's why I like Marvin Harrison. That's why I like Michael Wilson. Last but not least, for the core 4 bets for week 14, I got our boy JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, over 94.5 receiving yards. I like the 100. I think he hit the century mark today for receiving today. So I'm pretty bold on that as well. So that was the plus money on DraftKings. So I took that. But I do like the spot for him. Like I said, cover 4 for Atlanta. They get shredded when they're playing this defense. And JSN gets a huge bump against this defense, this defensive archetype. And then Darnold also, again, the deep ball rate is definitely there. It's just all about, now it's all about the execution. I know I respect AJ Terrell, but it's more about like JSN has just been cooking with hot grease all year. And this is a spot where if there's going to be any type of competitiveness, I definitely like JSN to get, a ton of usage of volume. If you like the 6.5 over for catches, I have no problem with that either. Because again, who else is going to get targeted like consistently enough in this offense? I'll say JSN. So definitely like that for the core 4 bets for week 14. Now I got the other bets that we have here as well. So I got y'all. So Joe Burrow, 260 plus passing yards. Look, in a game where we expect, Burrow did this last week, and it was pretty easy for him to do. And now gets a Buffalo defense that they're a sight for sore eyes when it comes to these corners, right? They're relying on some pieces that they've had the last couple of years to make sure they could try to give some stopgaps to this pass defense. So obviously T. Higgins playing today, And that's a good sign for Cincinnati today. They have a good amount of weapons today in this spot. So Cincinnati knows they have to keep their foot on the gas pedal to try to win all these games to see if they can just make the playoffs. So they are in playoff mode already. So that being said, definitely love Joey B, 260 pass yards or more. Kyron Williams, baby, over 63.5 rush yards. He's been, last couple of weeks we've been on him and stuff like that. He's respected the coin, baby. But like I talked about earlier, Cardinals' last 3 games have averaged running backs to at least have 80 rush yards or more and a touchdown. So this line's a bit too low. I know Blake Corum's going to get some usage and volume and stuff. So we're hoping that Kyron Williams gets this thing started off early in their game. So that way Blake Corum can have his little touch. So that being said, same vein and same game, we got to talk about our boy, Jacoby Brissett, a.k.a. Brisket, over 249.5 pass yards. He's done this in every single game he started this season. So this feels like a trap, but I'm going to go with it because Brissett, they got to keep on throwing the football to be, to have an absolute chance in this one. Few more I got for y'all. Bucky Irving, over 2.5 catches. He missed this mark last week, but that was because, again, they're kind of not – they were kind of easing him in, but we knew that Bucky Irving was going to give him the best shot to win. So he's going to have a bit more usage and volume in this one, I feel, in this spot. And again, the Buccaneers got to keep on winning in order to have their opportunities for the NFC South Crown Division. So 2 more. Brenton Strange, over 43.5 receiving yards. Talked about it earlier. This just sets up for Brenton Strange to have a decent outing because again, the Jaguars haven't found themselves in a passing script, like a heavy passing script lately, and the Colts can give them that fight. And even though it's the rain, 43.5, I feel for Strange is too low because again, it's him, it's Myers, it's Brian Thomas Jr. And no Parker Washington today. So I definitely like this spot for Brenton Strange in this spot to get us over those receiving yards. Last but not least, Johnny's boy. Caleb Williams, over 216.5 pass and rushing yards. I just think that in a game spot like this, if Chicago either fight themselves down a bit, I think Green Bay, obviously I respect their front 7 and their defense, but it's with Caleb Williams here, I think that he could solely get, we know the passing yards may not always equate to him being as much successful. So that's why I'm going to take the pass and rush yards. I think the line is just a bit too low. There should be a line where it's at least 229.5 pass and rushing yards. Cause we all know Caleb Williams can get a little bit loose and I think he'll have to in this spot. So, those are the bets for the Knicks prop shop for week 14. We'll have a few more obviously for Sunday Night Football, as well. And then obviously Monday Night Football too. So, appreciate everybody out here. Yes, sir. The Knicks prop shop is fire. Yeah, some books have 72.5. I don't see that at all. That was probably for rushing receiving. That definitely got shooted up. Probably by at least 6 yards or whatever. I was lucky enough to catch it at 75.5. So if you got it something early, something decent, whatever, maybe a pick a map or whatever. I mean, kudos to you for sure. Our collab is core 4. Yep, I agree, 100%. So only 4 receivers for the Cardinals today. Oh man, I love it. Yeah, love it. So yeah, that is what we cooking with, baby. Johnny, any final thoughts to leave with the people?
Yep. You guys can do better. Just not better than me.
Thank you.
I wish you all well. Good luck to all of my Scott Fish bowlers out there. Just hoping for a big day for JT and Bijan. That's what I need. So hoping for a big day from that. And then in my season long, maybe Justin Jefferson finally gets somebody to throw in the ball. So we'll see.
Maybe. I guess my final thought is I'm conflicted about Bijan today. I want him to do well, just not that well. I'm facing him in a few spots today. So it's one of those players that you can do well because I have him on some of my squads, but you just can't do too well. You can't break the slate.
Hey man, you can have my quote. You can have it for today. You can have it.
I can't. You have my coat. No, thank you. But that being said, yeah, I mean, look, like hopefully that happens. But yeah, good luck to everybody out there looking to get their playoff tickets punched, playoff berths. If you're playing for some bye weeks and stuff like that, I know I am in some spots today where I'm like literally there, and I'm actually ironically in a spot where I'm playing the person that has the second seed, and win and I get the second seed, lose, I have to play next week. So, like I said, it's crunch time, baby. It's time to punch those tickets. That we get to the playoff train, where everything becomes a lot more tense, condensed. So, that being said, me and Johnny, we out of here. We see y'all 7:30 p.m. EST, where we'll be talking about the Sunday Night Football matchup between the Texans and the Chiefs in a game where it's pretty much a must-win for Kansas City? Question mark? We'll definitely find out and break that down for y'all, as long as obviously the rest of these games and outcomes that happen today. So again, your favorite fantasy football homeboys, we out. We'll see y'all later this afternoon. Peace.